The internet is one of those things that most of us in the world couldn't ever imagine without. It's so fundamentally important for things such as work, social communication, and even playing games. There was a time, not so long ago, in fact today with older adults, where they haven't always had the internet, or possibly the internet just being so slow, resulted in less dependency for the internet than it is from the likes of today. Yes, people lived without the internet. Can you imagine? Don't have fibre internet? Well, some of us used to love dial up at 56k and pay by the second. You should consider yourself lucky. So whilst older adults have lived without and have ways of occupying their time, it wouldn't be too far-fetched to believe that possibly younger adults who have always had the internet at their fingertips, the complete opposite could be possible. Our brains are conditioned in a way where if we get a fix, we get some dopamine, some sort of reward drug. Take that thing away that allowed us to get our rewards and you create an imbalance. Our next story is about a 15-year-old male identified as Santiago who had his internet taken away that changed his and his family's lives forever. So without further ado, whether you're a Grimmer or a Reaper, I am the Grim Reaper, so let's get it on. This is the story of the boy, no internet, and the bad school grades. It was on Tuesday evening, 8th February 2022, in the Algoda area of Elche, about 20 kilometres from the southeastern port of Alicante, where the schoolboy had reportedly screwed up big time at school. He brought home to his parents his grade report card and showed his parents. The grades wasn't particularly great, with one report mentioning that he had failed 5 subjects. His parents, however, perceived this to be absolutely appalling and decided to take some kind of remedy action so this never repeated itself. A punishment, the parents thought, would be well justified and deserved to inflict on the teenager as a direct consequence of him not trying hard enough at school. So what did the parents do? They took away his mobile phone and also disabled the most important thing to the boy, the home Wi-Fi, which he spent a considerable amount of time using whilst playing with his video games. The events that followed was apparently later that same evening where the kid flipped. Within the house was a shotgun that took 12 caliber cartridges that his father used for hunting activities. The shotgun was locked away, so that was good. The only bad thing was that the key to the locked cabinet was not hidden and was clearly visible to everyone. The boy, Santiago, whilst his mother was in the kitchen, he thought he would add a couple slugs into the mix of whatever she was cooking up, straight into her mother's back, killing her fatally and instantly. His brother, who was only 10, witnessed his mother being killed and attempted to try and flee the scene. He was, however, shot fatally with a single shot from the hunting rifle according to Santiago's statement to the police. He then waited a further 4 hours for his father to return back home and fired the first shot into his chest. His father, he said, just would not shut up, so he proceeded to fire a further shot into him to silence him, to give himself some more peace and quiet. These bodies wasn't particularly a good thing laying in the house, so the cold-hearted killer boy then proceeded to move the bodies to an area some 30 metres away that was used to store tools that his father used when working in the fields. He took the time after to clean up all the blood within the property, took the time to have a shower, and proceeded to make himself dinner prior to playing video games for the rest of the evening. The boy, Santiago, continuously made excuses for his father not attending work and his son not attending school for the following few days. He cited they was also grieving from a family funeral that they had to attend in nearby Albacete, and also that they had caught a virus. He also used his mother's mobile phone and WhatsApp to reply to any messages received, impersonating her. The boy continued to play obsessively with his video computer games. It was initially thought, according to local media outlets, that the boy approached a neighbour's residence and confessed about what had happened after a few days. However, this was untrue. It emerged later on 11th February 2022, a few days after the killings, that his two aunts popped around the property. She had not heard from her sister for some time, so she thought she would pop in to catch up and see if she was alright. The boy told his aunts about what had happened when she popped around, but decided to not tell the truth, however, and started to cook up his own story of events that had apparently occurred. Santiago started mentioning that everyone was asleep, and so the cooked up story progressed. However, he wasn't too convincing, and she didn't believe him. He then broke down in tears and confessed to killing his mother, father, and brother. Shockingly, he also showed her pictures of the dead bodies. Was this some kind of trophy? The police then was informed and arrested the 15-year-old male in connection with the deaths at the property and taken into custody. The teenager had confessed also in a statement to the police about what had happened, confirming that he had killed them all. It was noted by police that there was a lack of emotion with such a sensitive situation when the boy was confessing. He spoke, "I waited 4 or 5 hours for my father and shot him when he arrived." There was coldness in everything mentioned, with no signs of remorse ever displayed by the teenager at the time. Spanish media reported that the teenager would be taken to the juvenile prosecutor's office and be placed in a reform centre for minors. Under minors' law, there will be no prison sentence, but rather an internment measure imposed instead. This could include Santiago to remain being hospitalised for 5 years, with a further 3 years supervision after release. Such informative courses and training programs for rehabilitation would also be imposed as a result too. The autopsies of the victims were scheduled to take place on Saturday 12th February 2022, and the funeral of his mother, father and brother took place on Monday 14th February 2022, Valentine's Day of all days. Not that there ever would have been a better day for anything like that had happened ever. What do you think happened? Was Santiago telling the truth? And is it right to have a firearm within a property to protect your family where something sinister could happen with the firearm and not for the reason it was purchased for? Should there have been better security of the firearm? How did the boy Santiago learn how to fire the hunting rifle, aim, and handle the comeback from it? Did his father teach him? Let us know what you think in the comments below and whether the punishment fits the crime. If you liked this video, please do leave a like and consider subscribing, as it will really help us producing more and more content for your viewing pleasure. Remember to also click that notifications bell as well if you want to be informed of when the next video is released too. Until the next one, I am the Grim Reaper and I am